on this? Very good. So then you'll have this to, once I upload it to YouTube, you'll have it to come back to practice, and just review. Maybe if you're not here, that's a good way for you to come to class, because, you know, things come up. I totally understand.
Right.
To be able to visit class later is an amazing option, and technology is cool for that. So we'll get started by walking in place.
I have one question before you get started. When I go back to review, if I don't see everybody when we are exercising, when I go back to review, I won't see anything but me down in the corner.
You should only see me in the recording.
Okay. I didn't even see that. Okay.
So, like, you will be able to hear y'all's voice when you talk, but y'all's pictures aren't on the recording.
Okay.
Only I am.
Okay. Okay.
You don't have to look at yourself. If you want to look at yourself, you got to make your own video of you.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Which is
good.
It's kind of a good idea because it lets you see yourself and how you're doing your movements. That's how I've caught some mistakes of mine. So, you know, it's not a bad idea to record yourself. But I've been saying I want to do a
I don't need that.
Do what? What you say?
No, I'm saying I'm fine.
Okay. I've been saying I want to do a better job of walking in place and opening and closing my hands and not walking forwards and backwards, because walking backwards is a bad example, because we don't want to walk backwards. We don't have eyes in the back of our head. Therefore, it's a little bit dangerous to walk backwards. So I'm doing a better job of, when I do these online classes, of just walking in place, open and closing my hands and pumping my arms to get my body warmed up. You know, if we were in a regular class, we would be walking around the room. And by walking around the room, we would, you know, be going forward, and we would never walk backwards. But I caught myself walking forwards and backwards towards and away from the camera, just because of space and trying to stay in the camera. So I'm trying to just walk in place. And even if you're seated, you can march your legs in place. You're in control of how high you bring your knees. So you have some control options there. All right, I think we're good and warmed up. It's nice and warm outside, therefore it's warm inside, so we don't have to combat the cold temperatures. So starting off with our warm-up stretch, we think about how we're holding our bodies. Typically holding our bodies shoulder width apart. We have good posture. Our shoulders are relaxed. And we're breathing. We just want to feel like we have that control over our bodies. We're not leaning forward, backwards, or sideways. We're in control of our stance. As we do our stretches from head to toe, we continue this same stance. So we bring our hands up, palms down towards our chin and chest. Push away from our bodies and follow those hands all the way down, chin to chest. Bring our hands back up towards our chin and chest. Push away from our bodies and follow those hands all the way down. Do a little stretch in the back of your neck. In terms of breathing, I like to inhale as I bring my hands up, and then I exhale whenever I get ready. It takes twice as long to exhale as it does to inhale. The other neck exercise starts out that same way. We drop one hand to our hip, follow this hand over to our shoulder, or as we look towards that shoulder, feel a little stretch, come back to the front and switch hands and go towards that side. Stretching that neck. Come back to the front. Switch. Side to side. Feels good to stretch that neck. That is the one place I hold tension of anywhere in my body is in my neck. So these stretches are really good for me. I can do them anytime, not just in Tai Chi warm up. Let's roll our shoulders, small circles forward. Drawing those circles on the sides of our legs. It's about the size of a quarter. And rotate those shoulders back. Feel like a little massage you give yourself. Roll those shoulders forward. And back. Let's do a big shoulder circle. Our hands come up, palms up, and then let's push down in front of us. Inhale up and exhale. Inhale up and exhale. Let's grab our ball and stretch our spine, separating the heavens and the earth. One hand comes down, pushes towards the ground. The other follows our spine up, pushes up towards the ceiling. Come back to that ball, and we're going to switch our hands, stretching our spine vertically. My nose itches. Continuing to breathe as we do these stretches. I like to inhale as I come to my ball, and then exhale as I push and separate those hands. Keep breathing. Oh, it got me yawning, y'all. Back to that ball. Now let's take it for a ride, turning side to side, just like with our waving hands and clouds motion. Side to side, just stretching that spine horizontally. Continuing to breathe as we go side to side. Come back to the middle and our hands down. Give yourself a little shake as we prepare to do our lower body exercises where we rely on one leg to hold our weight. Starting with our hip exercise, we shift our weight to one leg. We put that heel out forward, hands back, pause in the middle, and toe back, hands forward.
Oh, go back and then forward. Okay.
Yeah, it's a counterbalance. So when that foot is back and hands forward, it keeps you from falling versus if my hands were back and my leg was back, I'd be more likely to fall back. So that helps create a counterbalance. Come back to the middle. Let's shift our weight to the other leg. Heel forward, hands back, pause, and toe back, hands forward.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Just slowly going from forward and to back, taking our time as we breathe. Very good. Now let's shift our weight from side to side as we take our hands, shift, and tap that toe out. Bring the foot back, switch hands, and shift the weight, tap the foot. Just going side to side. Now back to center. For our knees, we have our loose fists down here. You can keep them by your hips or your waist as long as you're not holding tension in your shoulders. We're going to shift our weight to one leg, lift the other foot, tap the toe out, and punch that opposite arm. Bring that foot back. Let's take a step back so you can see my foot the whole time. Shift the weight, lift, tap and punch, bring it back, shift, lift, tap and punch, bring it back, shift, lift, tap and punch, bring it back. Very good. Shifting that weight from side to side, really working those stabilizer muscles. Keeping our bodies upright. Good posture, relaxed shoulders. Now let's step forward. Step heel toe. Shift the weight to that front foot, keeping that back foot flat on the floor, and bring it back. Feet side by side. Shift, step heel toe. Shift and punch. Bring it back. Feet side by side. Shift, step, shift and punch. Bring it back. Side by side. Shifting that weight. Taking your time to shift the weight, engaging those stabilizer muscles. Getting in a hurry skips past those stabilizers. So just make sure you keep it slow as you shift the weight front to back and as you shift the weight side to side. Give the whole movement its full respect. Complete the movement before you move to the next part of it so that you can use that whole muscle. Whole range of all the muscles that you're working. Very good. Now for our ankles, shift the weight, heel toe, so we're rocking that foot, heel toe. Bring it back, shift the weight, heel toe, heel toe. Now big toe, little toe. So we're working side to side. Side to side. Bring it back, shift the weight. Heel, toe. Big toe, little toe. Sorry. My mouth was running and my brain was in no way involved. I don't know if that ever happens to y'all. Give yourself a shake. So what do y'all want to focus on today? Do you have a certain thing you would like to learn about or to practice or go over?
What we used to do. You know,
Okay. Have we started? Go ahead. What was
Yeah, I love how you do it. I love how you do that there. That sticks me about the hand waving.
Uh-huh.
Cause you like you on a boat and you slow motion with it. I love that.
Whenever I first started, I had to just pretend I was going in slow motion because I had a really hard time slowing down. So, yeah, you almost have to pretend like you're in a different realm.
Oh yeah.
And it's keeping you from going fast.
Oh yes, sure do.
It's hard to slow down. We're used to going 90 to nothing and we're always in a hurry.
Oh yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll go over our basic 6.
Okay.
Have we been working on our brush knee? Did we start working on brush knee or we just stuck with basic 6?
I think the last time you
did it.
Last time you did a brush knee.
Okay. I sometimes don't have a good memory. Anyway, we'll
I was wondering what brush knee was. That's, and you showed us.
do what?
I was wondering what was brush knee when I was looking at my information you were sending us, that you sent us.
So
When
I have it on
the brush knee,
I have
and
it
you
on my
told us what it
notes.
was.
I have it on my notes to do a video that's just about brush knee. It's an advanced move, so it's complicated. But I'll do that video and you'll have it to just refer back to, but we'll work on that today. Okay, but first we want to just practice that basic 6 and just feel real good about that. We want to really think about our principles, you know, which I always refer back to principles. Our principles are movement control, which is slow, smooth, and continuous, and gentle resistance. And so when we work with gentle resistance, that's what I was talking about when I said feeling like you're in water or an accordion when you do those movements. Something that there's resistance to your movement that's not really there. It's just in your head. You're creating that resistance and that engages muscle. So that's about movement control. Another principle is about body structure. So how many times have I said, let's think about our body structure. Let's think about how we're holding our bodies. An upright posture. How many times have I said weight transfer? So those are in our principle under body structure. And then we have that internal principle of Tai Chi, which that is what it's a mental quietness. It's harder to do in class because there's a teacher that talks a lot, and it's harder to kind of get mentally quiet when somebody's talking. So that's something that I encourage you to practice on your own time, is doing the movements and just really getting in the moment of your breath and just feeling the Tai Chi move calm you and quiet you, where your brain isn't going 90 to nothing. And then I talk about open joints, where, you know, I always say we have a soft bend, and that keeps that joint open versus pushing my hands straight out, and that's a closed joint. So we want an open joint where they're soft and the energy can flow, and that's the internal principle of Tai Chi. So we can practice the same movements over and over and over, but think about different principles and experience them in a different way. So there's never a lack of learning with our Tai Chi. So whatever you choose to focus on that. You may just want to focus on, hey, what's next? And that's okay too. So we start with our weight on both legs, our feet shoulder width apart, that good, nice posture, relaxed shoulders. Reminding ourselves to breathe and not holding our breath. Here we go. And commence. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. And open and close. Close it out. Kind of got out of camera that time. Let me squish it down just a little bit. So I like to remind myself to breathe throughout and do a check on my body throughout the movements just to make sure I'm not starting to bring tension somewhere or feel myself leaning, just nice and relaxed in my posture. So let's do it again. And commence. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds.
Hello. All right.
Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds.
Y'all from this area?
No, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
I'm from Atlanta. I have a family of a baby.
Oh, hello. Hello.
Howdy.
Yes, ma'am.
Open and close.
Yes, ma'am.
And close it out.
Our family members buried in Decatur County.
I'm gonna see if I can mute there. I'm gonna mute Doris, that way she can tend her customer. I'll see when she gets back, I'll unmute her. Anything about those movements that you have question on or want to review?
I know how to do that.
Okay,
And
very
not
good.
like yours, but
Hey, I'm watching you and I see you. You're smooth. I mean, you're doing all those moves. I see you. I can't see your feet, but that's okay. I see that you're doing those. Now,
yeah, I know I go this way the first time, then do all of that. Then the next time we go start this way. I try to keep them in my head.
well, we do go to we mirror image has destroyed my knowledge of Tai Chi, but we do wave hands and clouds to the right first, and then we wave hands and clouds to the left second. I had to close my eyes and think about it.
Right.
But if you mess up and go the other direction and then the other direction, there's never been a Tai Chi police that came and arrested me because I did it that way.
I do that sometime.
That's okay.
And then I look at you and I said, they went that way. I'm going this way.
That's okay. The important thing is that you're doing it to each side so that you can utilize all the muscles.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Now, something came up the other Tuesday in class, not online, but in real in-person class about single whip. And so we were talking about how if you do seated Tai Chi, then of course you're not shifting weight and stepping. You may push your feet into the floor to engage muscle, but you're not. When you do single whip and you shift and step, you're stepping at that angle. And when you step at that angle, it's about a 45-degree angle. Your body naturally turns with that step, right? So we shift, step, we push, turn, separate. Well, not everybody feels comfortable stepping at that angle. That might bother some people's knee whenever they step, so they don't like the way that feels. So if that's how you feel, then an option would be to just step forward in that staggered stance, push, turn, separate, and then bring that foot back to get ready for waving hands and clouds. That's a modification that if you're struggling with that step to an angle, it may tweak your knee to turn like that. It's not a big step, but our bodies are all different. So somebody might feel pain and not like that. So there's always some type of modification. So if a movement is causing you pain, let me know and I'll help you find the proper modification where you're still getting out of the movement what you need, but you're doing it in a way that's comfortable and pain-free for you. Because I know as we get older, we have a lot of people that either have had knee and hip replacements or need knee and hip replacements. So there's pain involved in both of those. So just always remember that there are modifications to be had, and that's one for single whip, where instead of stepping to that angle, we can just step forward in a staggered stance and go straight out and whip. And then you're still doing that movement just in a way that protects you. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it one more time. And then we're going to go to our brush knee. Okay. All right. So if anything I just said resonated with you, then put it into play this time and then we'll move on. So here we go. We're going from commencement. And commence. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close. Brush knee. Waving hands in clouds. Lord. I think my mind is in Mars somewhere. I'll tell y'all in a second what is going on with me. Open and close. I'm about to say brush knee and close it out. Okay, so here's what I did on my lunch break. I went to this store and I was checking out, and you know how at these stores they'll have like colognes and like sample-y smell good stuff that you can, try and see if you like. Well, on this side there was cologne, and on this side there was this other spray, and they were in all these cute little bottles. And so they all had different names, and one of them said amber something. And I said, oh, are these samples so I can spray it and see what it smells like? Yes, they said. So I spray it on my wrist and I go like this, like it's cologne, And so I smell it and I'm like, that smells good. And then I realized that it's room spray. It's not cologne. I think my head is not right because I came back and washed it all off, but it is so strong that it is making me feel like weird in the head. But, I sprayed what is it? Room spray on my wrist, just rubbed it all in. Anyway, so I keep thinking about, my gosh, that smell is strong. And that's where my brain kept going, thinking about that room spray. Miss Doris, I had muted you whenever you had a customer. And so now I've tried to unmute you, but all it says is ask to unmute. So I don't know what it looks like on your end, but I didn't mean to mess you up. I just didn't want you. You might not have thought about that.
She can do it.
Okay. Yeah, she's a pro at this. She knows the right buttons to push. I didn't want her to be talking and we couldn't hear her. All right. So let's. You want to do feet or hands brush knee first?
Whichever.
Okay. Well, I like to do hands. So
Okay.
we're coming from open and close. And so we're going to lay hands. That's what I call it. I don't know.
Okay.
So you're taking your right hand and it's coming from open and close movement. And you're just laying out there in front of you. Like you're laying out there for somebody to, lay something on your arm. Your left hand follows that hand down, but then lands just above your elbow.
Okay.
So if I look down, I can see an L. Here, lay hands. That's the first movement. The second movement of brush knee for our hands is this left hand is gonna come separate and be down here by my hip.
Mhm.
Okay.
So I'm here, open and close. Now I'm gonna brush knee, lay hands, protect that elbow,
Mhm.
separate hands, bring that left hand down here by my hip.
Mhm.
My right hand is going to come around and like I'm throwing a pitch.
Mhm.
So from the side, it looks like this. Lay hands,
Mhm.
separate hands, come around and throw a pitch. Okay, that's the whole handwork of brush knee. So let's do it together. We're coming from open and close, lay hands, separate hands, bring that right arm around and throw that pitch. So now we're at that stop in the name of love kind of stance, right? There's a soft bend in my elbow. Remember, we keep that open joint. Whenever we put that hand around, we don't lock our joint. You know, we're not locking a joint. It looks like here. So there's still a soft bend there. So it's coming straight out in front. I just turned to the side to show you what it looks like from the side, and that is that right hand comes out and around as I throw that pitch. Okay, very good.
Mhm.
So my left hand comes
Mhm.
down and protects the elbow and then comes down here by my hip.
And then we throw that pitch.
And then we throw that pitch
Okay. Okay.
and then we're stopping the name of love.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
That's the whole hand movement of brush knee. So here, coming from open and close, brush knee, lay hands, separate, throw that pitch, and stop in the name of love. Easy enough, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh yeah, we got the hands. Now let's work on the feet. I'm gonna put this camera down so you can see my feet.
My feet probably won't do as much as my hands.
That's okay. We have some options now. Let me just remind you here is that our a brush knee is an advanced movement. Our basic 6 movements is what Dr. Lamb uses for seated Tai Chi. So when it comes to the advanced movements, it's not necessarily meant to do seated. That doesn't mean you can't do it seated. It's just not meant for that. So if you do our advanced movements seated, then you'll come out front the whole time. Just like we just learned the arm movements where we did here, here, and here. Well, whenever we do brush knee with the footwork, this is what it looks like. So I made a whole turn. You're not going to turn if you're sitting in your chair because you'll fall out of your chair. So if you're doing it seated, then brush knee will look like this for you. I'm staying seated, planting my feet shoulder width apart. Here, separate, come forward. So I don't worry about moving to the side in my chair. We just do everything forward when we do seated movements, seated advanced movements. So if you don't do it seated, that none of that applied to you. But just know when you're seated, you're not going to turn from side to side. You're not going to move around in that chair because that would set you up for falling. So that seated Tai Chi will come out front
Okay.
for the advanced movements. So if you if I forget to talk about seated Tai Chi and you need a reminder, I'll remind you of that. So footwork for brush knee. So here, we're just talking about our feet. I'm going to shift my weight to my left foot, shift, and I'm going to turn my right toe in. When I turn that right toe in, to me, that's saying, I want to go that way. That's an arrow. That's what I think of whenever I turn that toe in. And that's how I always remember which toe to turn in. Okay, what direction am I going? Well, I'm going to the left. So I point my toe that way. So I shift left, turn my right toe towards the left side. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right, if you have problems with your knee, that might hurt to turn your toe like that. That's a kind of an awkward position. So what you could do is step out. Let me step back a second. So I would shift left, step out right, shift right. Okay, so that's if you need to widen your stance to protect your knee. Okay, so if you don't have to do that, we'll just stick with turning our toe. So we shift left, right toe in. How does that feel? Shift left, right toe in.
I can't control this side, so it's not gonna go in like it's supposed to.
Okay.
Okay.
If you can't do that, can you step out?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So that's good. That is a modification that helps you do the movement, but it's a shift left, step out right.
Okay.
Now we're going to shift right. And our left leg, we're going to bring the left toe here. And then we'll step left, shift, follow step right. So basically what we're doing when we're going, doing brush knee is we're going from facing forward to facing to the left. And you know, in Tai Chi, we have to do everything smooth. And it wouldn't be very smooth if I just stood right here facing forward and then just jumped. That's not smooth. So I got to make it smooth by shifting weight. And whenever we're moving, we go shift, turn or step out, shift, and get ready to step, shift, follow step. So there's kind of a sing-song back and forth type motion to the weight shift because we shift the weight so we can move this foot. We shift the weight so we can move this foot here. We shift the weight so we can move this foot. So we're shifting that weight back and forth. And when we shift the weight to one foot, we do something with the other. When we shift the weight to that foot, we do something with the other. We shift the weight and do something. So the weight shift, okay, these are advanced movements. We're expected to be sort of strong in those stabilizer muscles. So when our stabilizer muscles are stronger, we can start moving and doing stuff with our Tai Chi. And that's why Dr. Lamb gave us advanced movements. So we are shifting left, right toe in, shift right, step left, shift left, follow step right. Now you might have thought just then, did you skip a part? Well, I kind of skipped a movement, and I'm going to tell you what it is and tell you that there's a choice. You have a choice whether to do it or not. So I'm shifting left, right toe in. Shift right. Now here's my choice that I have. I can either take my left foot and go ahead and step, or I can take my left foot and bring it here and then step. So it's kind of a transition move from here, back, and step to the side. Whichever you feel most comfortable with.
Okay.
Whenever I'm doing the movement, I bring that toe in and then step. But I noticed I skipped that just now, and I want to let you know you don't have to do the step in before you step out. You don't have to do that, but it's kind of one of those things that gives you that I'm regrouping. Now I'm stepping. So it's the same thing whenever we do waving hands and clouds. So after our brush knee, after our single whip, we bring that toe back, and then we step out to do waving hands and clouds. It's that same kind of thing. We're gathering and doing something. So let's practice that footwork. So we're shift left, right toe in, shift right, bring that left foot back, and now step it to the side. Shift right and follow step left. Okay, how is that going? How is that feeling?
That's fine.
Okay, good. All right, let's do it a few more times. So brush knee, shift left, right toe in, or right step out, whichever you feel most comfortable.
Right.
Shift right, bring that right toe in, or left foot in, step left, shift left, and follow step right. So you see, when I follow step right, my right foot is further back than my left foot. There's a staggered stance right there. So my feet aren't side by side. That right foot is further back than my left foot. So anytime in our movements that we have a follow step, the follow step is further back. So in a minute, we'll step back, shift, follow step. So it's not further back, but there's that staggered stance. That's what I meant to say.
Okay.
All right, so footwork for brush knee. Shift left, right toe in, shift right, left foot gets ready to step, shift left, and follow step right. So remember, we're going from facing front to facing to the side without just hopping. We're trying to make it smooth by shift, turn, shift, step, shift, and follow step. After I follow step, that last step where my right foot ends up further back than my left, where's my weight? My weight is on my left foot.
Side.
When we follow step, that heel isn't completely touching the floor. It's almost touching the floor. There's only amount of space for a piece of paper. Now, let's say you lose your balance and you need to give that right foot a little weight. That's okay. Go right ahead. Give it a little bit of weight. Get yourself stable then shift the weight completely back to that left foot because you're getting ready to do something with the right foot. So just because I say don't put weight on a foot doesn't mean you don't, that it's, you know, like the police will come arrest you. They're not going to come arrest you. Most importantly is that you're listening to your body. And I would rather you put weight on a foot that's not supposed to have weight, technically, according to Dr. Lamb, and not fall versus, oh, I can't put weight on that foot, and then you fall, right? Does that make sense? So most important is that you don't fall and you listen to your body. It's, but I'm just telling you that in the movement, there is no weight on that follow step foot because you're getting ready to move it. You're getting ready to do something with it. So let's put those two together. We have brush knee, hands and feet. So we've learned the footwork, we've learned the handwork. Now we want to put it together and we're going to break it down. So our hands are here from open and close. We are going to shift to our left foot as we lay hands. No, hold on. Yeah, shift, lay hands and turn our foot in. So we shift the weight, shift, then lay hands, turn foot. So that lay hands, turn foot, that happens at the same time. Now we're putting the hands and feet together. We're here at open and close. We shift left, right toe in, lay hands. So just try that a few times. Shift left, right toe in, lay hands. Shift left, right toe in, lay hands. How's that feeling? Putting the feet and the hands together.
Right.
You like that? We're getting it together. So now we're going to what with our hands? Separate hands. So we shift left, right toe in, lay hands. Now with our feet, we shift right, separate hands.
Okay.
So we're here. Shift left, right toe in, lay hands. Shift right. And now you know how I told you we can bring that left foot in? When we separate our hands, we go.
Then
It's like our hand coming into our hip, that separate the hand down here to our hip is pulling that foot in. See, that makes kind of sense. Okay, so we're going. Shift left, right toe in, lay hands. Shift right, bring that foot back and separate hands. Shift left, right toe in, lay hands. Shift right, left foot in, separate those hands. Now we're ready to step with our left foot, step. Now let's throw that pitch and we're shifting the weight to that left foot. And when we get to the end of that pitch, we follow step right. All right, let's do it again. Shift, turn, lay hands. Shift, separate, bring that foot in, step, throw the pitch as I shift, and follow step. Let's do it a couple more times. Shift, turn, lay hands. Shift, separate, bring that foot in, step, shift as I throw that pitch, and follow step. Now it's not as slow as what I'm going because I'm talking. it may be a little easier to go faster. So let me just do brush knee without talking of every movement. You can watch. And brush knee. Y'all are doing a smooth job. Did you have a question? You good? Okay. All right, I'll show you again. You can do it with me. And brush knee. Okay, when we learned commencement, or when you learned commencement for the first time, that was a very difficult move for your first time. Once we got commencement down pat, man, open and close was a treat, wasn't it? It was no big deal. And then they hit us with waving hands and clouds, which has its challenges because we're hand and feeting at the same time. So brush knee gives us another challenge because we're changing direction. So it is very challenging to change direction. So don't get down on yourself if you feel very awkward and weird with this movement, trying to make it smooth. Just practice. So we come from open and close, shift, turn, lay hands, shift, get ready, separate, step, shift as I throw that pitch, and follow step.
Okay.
Right, let's do it one more time and then we'll cool down. It's 2:28. And open and close. Brush knee. Shift. Turn, lay hands. Shift. Get ready. Separate those hands and step. Shift as I throw that pitch. Follow step. Y'all got it. I see y'all.
Okay.
How's the feet feel? Because I don't see your feet. How does the feet feel?
It's okay.
Okay, you'll get there.
Mhm.
All right, let's give ourselves a little fist massage. It tells our legs, thank you for working so hard.
Oh, yeah.
They really work hard. Let's create tension and then let it go. We gather and relax. And relax. Inhale and exhale. And big circle. One more. When we make that fist, that represents our strength. Our fingers together is our friendship.
Right.
Our thumb is our humility. So strength, friendship, and humility. And then we put those together in mutual respect. We say namaste. So thank y'all for pushing yourselves. Next week, we'll get to our brush knee faster, and we will explore.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
thank you for being willing to do these. And if you have questions, just let me know.
And thank you for Ms. Jennifer. Thank you for helping us.
You're
Oh, yeah.
welcome. It's my pleasure. I love doing this.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, if y'all can rewatch this on YouTube, let me know if you have any questions. And if I don't hear from you, I will see you next Thursday.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Love y'all.
Love you too, Miss Jennifer.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.